Hi Cancer, welcome to the full moon in Gemini for November 27th, 2023. Getting towards the end of the year already. The direction your reading is going in for this full moon, which by the way closes out cycles. You have status quo, number 2, and it's a cycle. So this can be maybe from 2 new moons ago, right? So November, or the 2 weeks ago, right? So the new moon, last card reading. But we're dealing with status quo, everything staying the same, even though 2 is about duality and choice. So maybe it is the choice of keeping everything the same or changing it, right? We have 2 is always decision making and duality. Maybe you're trying to keep things status quo. You don't want things to change right now in a very changeable world at the moment. And maybe it's just a decision that you need to make. But status quo, everything seems kind of normal at the time of the full moon for you. The Sun card, you get a yes answer with that. And this is the direction the reading is going in, but the Sun card is your focus for the next 2 weeks, which is really nice. That's success, victory, individuality, ego, freedom, happiness, as it reads on the card. The Sun is a healing energy. Something really interesting about the Sun that I read recently on a very esoteric level. And it comes from the book of Anastasia, the Ringing Cedars. The Ringing Cedars selection. It's a group of books. Highly suggest reading them. The Sun is really reflecting back to us the goodness that we give out. And I think that says a lot because the Sun's pretty powerful. So in a very bleak and dark period that I think we're in, I think it's difficult right now, we still have the ability to shine our light. The Sun is a healing energy. It can make you feel like you want to be social, be out and about. You feel invigorated and vital. And it's solar energy. So it's a very, I want to be out there. I want to be hanging out with people. I'm feeling social. I'm feeling like I want to party. I just feel vital. So maybe I want to start running or, exercising, using this vitality, using this virile energy to create something or to give back or to give or whatever it is. It's a very optimistic, positive card. And it gives you a yes answer. It's not my yes card, but that's what the card says, so I think it's a very optimistic card. All right, I'm going to lay out all the cards, and look at that. You have double optimism. Good for you, Cancer. I think that's really important. The first column is where you find yourself at the beginning of the full moon and what you're closing out, what cycle you can be closing out. The second column is you and how you deal with the situation, what you're doing, what you're thinking about, what you're experiencing yourself, and how you are dealing with it. And the third column is the potential or likely outcome, which can always change because you have free will. Okay. So, let's have a look here. This can be enlightenment to something that you were either previously unaware of. The Seven of Cups is grounding those lofty ideas, right? It's putting a lot of energy behind an idea, something that you. So, okay, so the Seven of Cups is like the seven planets that have something to offer you, and you have to make a choice, and there can be some confusion there. But the Sun can give you that optimistic energy of, hey, I just had this epiphany, and this is what I want to do. It is. The Seven of Cups asks you to ground those lofty ideas, but it also says that if you can't imagine yourself having something, you probably can't have it. So you do need that power of imagination to kind of realize and ground those energies. And maybe it's just a starting point, but if you cannot imagine yourself having it, then chances are you probably won't. But there can be some confusion where choices are concerned. And the Seven of Cups often says, if you can't choose what you want, choose what the heart wants, because cups are about emotion, right? Emoting. Not only that, if you do want to create something and your heart is not in it, either it doesn't work out, it doesn't last, you can't create it, and certainly with the energy of manifestation, you need the accompanying emotion to go along with the thought. So, but you can have some pretty interesting ideas with the number seven. You know, there can be things that are not of the ordinary. They're a little bit unexpected or different than the norm. The sun can feed that, though. The sun gives you extra energy, extra power, extra lift. It's healing. It's positive. But it's also enlightenment, and so you may come to the conclusion of what it is that you really want to ground from those lofty ideas and those dreams that you have. Very nice. Ten of Cups. Nice. This is the couple from the Two of Cups, and they have grown and matured emotionally. And through their journey of this emotional cycle, they are grateful. They have faith in themselves. Like, look at all the things that I created, right? So I can do it again if I need to. I have a home, I have children, I have the love of my life, and I have a rainbow over my home, right? I have the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. This is the result of having faith and moving through that cycle, that emotional cycle. And nothing diminishes the energy of the sun. It's very positive and optimistic. And so maybe you are really kind of seeing the fruits of your labor, right? And for some, there maybe even be like a confusion of where to live, or if you're moving somewhere, or the area, or something like that. And you can come to kind of a realization of, that's where I want to be, that's where I want to go. But there's success here with the two sun cards, right? This is also Mars and Pisces, and so it's wanting to kind of get away from exacting schedules, boring responsibilities. Maybe you want to take off. Maybe you want to go somewhere sunny if you're if you're in the winter time here. Maybe you want to be somewhere sunnier. You might take a holiday. You might need one. I mean, just to really enjoy it if you're going to leave around this time, or maybe leave around Christmas, or maybe you're planning to, or something like that, or maybe you've had a really big plan all this time. I really wanted to go to the Bahamas or something like that. And now is the time to do it. This is family. Maybe you're trying to decide, or some of you are trying to decide whether you should visit family for Christmas or something like that, or if you'll ever have if you have the finances to do it, or the time to do it, if you can get away. Maybe now you're sort of planning that with work and that sort of thing, putting down the idea that, yeah, I'm going to take 2 weeks to go visit my family or something like that. Perhaps school is ending and it's winter break and now you're heading home. and you get to be with family again. And you feel good about it. It's really nice. Okay. Um, you and how you're dealing with it, the Knight of Wands and the Seven of Swords. The Knight of Wands can be messages and informations that you're sending out. Maybe you're calling people and saying, hey, I'm coming home, or we're going to have a party, come to our place. We've always wanted to have this big Christmas festivus, and we're going to do it. So these are invitations, messages that come in and out through electronic devices. So phone calls, texts, emails, that sort of thing. And there's some strategy involved here with that Seven of Swords. So how are we going to get everybody together? Who's going to stay where? Do we have to set up some tents? It's that kind of energy, right? Seven of Swords. There's some unstable energy around it. This is instability, the seven, unstable efforts, the Seven of Swords. But it's strategizing and trying to figure things out. Can be things that are going on in the background that you're not letting other people know about just yet. Those are maybe plans that you're making. But he's taking Five of the Swords away from the enemy camp so that they can't be used against him. That's his strategy. You might have something that isn't so difficult, and especially with the sun twice. I mean, nobody can. It's just a lovely energy. Well, you have the Nine of Wands. That is feeling a little bit on the defensive, or preparedness, we'll put it that way. These are your experiences, right? It's the number 9. So this is the accumulation of experiences that you've had with this passionate cycle. 9 is your spark, your instinct, your impetus to do something, right? It's kind of like ego energy. It gets you up and out of bed and says, oh, I want to do this today. I'm so excited to get it done, or to explore this particular thing. But this is kind of the walking wounded card. And so it seems to me like the strategies that you're using here are, I don't want to get hurt again, or who should we not invite so there's no arguments, or there's no difficulties, that kind of energy. You've been through the ringer. This is definitely the walking wounded card. So it's not like you haven't been through the ringer or haven't had the experiences to know that, certain people shouldn't be with other certain people, or maybe we shouldn't sit them by each other, or that kind of energy. There's some strategizing going on behind the scenes here. And these are definitely things that are happening in secret. And the Seven of Swords can also be hidden enemies. It seems to me like you're prepared for it with that Nine of Wands, right? Or either that, or with that Knight of Wands there, you're telling everybody, we're meeting for Christmas, but nobody's going to talk politics, or, I'm not inviting Uncle Joe because he doesn't get along with my brother, or whatever, stuff like that. Keeping it general. Okay. And the outcome is the Six of Swords and the Five of Swords. So very mental energy. Interesting, because here we have quite a bit of emotion, and in a good way, I think, even though there are some choices that we need to make. Here we're kind of talking mostly about that fire inside, the egoic energy, the passions, and as the potential, we're kind of being a little bit mental here. And interesting that you have the 5 and the 6, because the 5 are dramas that play out, right? Again, who doesn't get along together? How do we separate them? That kind of thing. They're dramas that are being played out. But also, especially with this Knight of Wands and the messages and the things that we're talking about, our words can have an impact on people. And so the Five of Swords is a lot about you get what you want, but it may not be the way you want it. It's something that is very hard won, and still there's this feeling of not a complete triumph, right? It's not completely successful. There's somebody that was hurt here. There was somebody that was having some difficulty. And so it doesn't feel like a complete win. That Six of Swords is asking us to move away from old emotional hurts and baggage, or moving away from the dramas that we have dealt with. But remember, this is towards the end of the 2 weeks or the end of the cycle. So we might be dealing with those dramas towards the end there. And it seems to me like no matter how you try to dodge a situation, something still kind of happens here with that Five of Swords. But the Six of Swords is taking those regrets or the difficulty and really trying to bring it back into balance, but from a calmer state of mind. You take yourself out of that dramatic situation, and you want to bring balance back to something, especially on a mental level, to understand it fully so that it doesn't happen again, that kind of energy. This is leaving a situation with a bit of a heavy heart, but we're leaving it, and we have it twice here. These are both moving on cards. Yeah, it does kind of feel like a family situation. Whether that's immediate family or, larger family, or even people we consider family but aren't blood related. Still, that Eight of Cups is moving on, and we're moving on to something better. We know we can do better. We know we can strive harder. We know we can achieve better with that Eight of Cups. But it's still something that we're leaving behind with a bit of a heavy heart. And both the Six of Swords and the Eight of Cups is moving on. It can just be moving on from the dramas that are playing out. What does Spirit want you to know? You have the Four of Swords. This is an interesting card. A respite, right? Or unrest, burnout, introspection, confinement, recuperation. I feel like there is unrest here, because here we have confusion in choices. Here we have unstable efforts and sort of this, for me, this is very kind of paranoid energy. And maybe you have things to be, leery of. That's very possible. But it's almost expecting that argument. It's expecting that fight. It's like, okay, I'm ready for it. If anything happens, I'm prepared and I'm ready. When you're in that kind of state of mind, you can draw that to you. But it seems to me like this is the Walking Wounded card, and this is the card of respite, repose, right? A rest. The physical body probably needs a rest, but the mind will probably continue to whirl. And you have 4, 5, and 6 here of the sword cards. And when you get the Four of Swords, it does mean that your affairs are in accord with the higher powers. But you do need a rest here with this. And this card warns, right, that if you don't take that rest yourself, that the universe will help you. And that's usually in a less than, it's not usually the way we want to, to rest, right? Maybe you get a migraine, or maybe you, break a toe or something. Those are just examples. But it's something that'll put you out. So you can better do it on your own. The thing is, there's a lot of planning going on while we're doing this rest. The body is at repose, right? The body is resting, but the mind continues to whirl. And so you really do want to be careful of these dramas that are being played out here. I think it's something that you kind of want to move away from. Or, after visiting family, you're ready to move on. You're like, all right, let's head out back to sea, because I had my fair share. I had my fill. Okay? All right. I hope this has been helpful. I will return in 2 weeks with a new moon reading. Until then, I wish you the best. Thanks for listening. Bye for now.